We're going to level with you folks. Government is built on a fundamental promise. That promise, not to be actively terrible. And a big part of being terrible is honesty. A radical concept, we know. But think about it. You can't trust a government that lies to you. It's like trusting a used car salesman who describes a rusted-out Pinto as pre-owned with character. Honesty is the bedrock of a functioning democracy. Without it, everything crumbles. When our leaders lie, it erodes public trust, weakens our institutions, and makes it impossible to address the very real problems facing our country. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of jelly beans. Spoiler alert, it's not going to end well. Now, we're not naive. We know that politicians and the truth have a complicated relationship. It's like that couple you know where one of them is constantly leaving their phone unlocked, but the other one is not checking it. But there's a difference between the usual political spin and outright lies. And unfortunately, the Biden administration seems to have a real soft spot for whoppers. From the economy to national security, the Biden White House has shown a blatant disregard for the truth. They've misled the American people about everything from inflation to military casualties. Remember when Biden claimed Trump left him with a 9% inflation rate? Turns out, it was actually 1.4%. That's not a rounding error, folks. That's a pants-on-fire, four-alarm dumpster fire of deception. Let's talk about the economy. Specifically, let's talk about how the Biden administration has repeatedly tried to gaslight us into believing everything is fine. They've touted job creation numbers that are about as real as a unicorn riding a roller coaster. They've claimed credit for deficit reduction while simultaneously spending money like a teenager with their parents' credit card. And don't even get us started on the whole taxing billionaires charade. It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a squirt gun. The truth is, the Biden administration's economic policies are about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. And their constant lies about it, well, they just add insult to injury. And then there's the curious case of Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, we're not here to speculate about the contents of said laptop. We'll leave that to the fine folks on certain cable news networks who seem to have an unhealthy obsession with it. But what we say is this. The Biden administration's attempts to dismiss the whole thing as Russian disinformation are about as convincing as a $3 bill. They've denied, deflected, and obfuscated. They've thrown enough shade to block out the sun. But the truth, like a bad toupee in a strong wind, always has a way of blowing off the lies that cover it. And when it comes to Hunter Biden's business dealings, the truth seems to be that the Biden family has some serious explaining to do. So, what happens when our leaders lie to us? Well, apart from the obvious erosion of trust, it also undermines our democracy in a very real way. It creates a climate of cynicism and apathy. It makes people question whether their voices even matter. And when people feel like their voices don't matter, they disengage from the political process. And that, my friends, is a very dangerous thing. Because a democracy only works when its citizens are engaged and informed. When they believe in the system and trust those in power. But when those in power abuse that trust, they chip away at the very foundations of our democracy. And that's not hyperbole, folks, that's just basic civics. Section 6. A muzzled watchdog, the assault on whistleblowers. But it's not just the lies themselves that are so damaging, it's also the way the Biden administration has gone after anyone who dares to point them out. Whistleblowers, those brave souls who risk their careers and reputations to expose wrongdoing, have been demonized and silenced. They've been subjected to investigations, retaliation, and character assassination. It's like something out of a dystopian novel. Except it's happening right here, right now, and that's a huge problem. Because whistleblowers are essential to a functioning democracy. They're the canaries in the coal mine, alerting us to dangers that we might not otherwise see. Silencing them is like plugging your ears and covering your eyes. It might make you feel better in the short term, but it's a recipe for disaster in the long run. Section 7. Restoring trust, the need for accountability and oversight. So, how do we fix this? How do we restore trust in a government that seems hell-bent on betraying it? Well, it starts with accountability. We need to hold our elected officials to a higher standard. We need to demand transparency and honesty, and when they lie, we need to call them out on it, loudly. But it's not enough to just yell at our TVs. We need to demand better from our institutions. We need stronger oversight, stricter ethics rules, and real consequences for those who abuse their power. We need to empower whistleblowers and protect them from retaliation, because the truth, as they say, will set you free. Or at the very least, it might shame some of these politicians into behaving themselves. Section 8, a call to action, demanding honesty from our leaders. This isn't about partisan politics, folks. This is about the fundamental principles that our country was founded on. This is about demanding better from our leaders and holding them accountable when they fall short. Because the alternative, a government built on lies and deception, is simply unacceptable. So what can you do? Get involved, stay informed, call your representatives, vote in every election, and above all, never stop demanding honesty and integrity from those in power. Because the future of our democracy depends on it. Section 9. What happens now? The future of truth and accountability. Now we leave you with this question. What consequences should lying officials face? A strongly worded letter? A timeout? Or something a little stronger? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to like and subscribe for more hard-hitting investigations into the issues that matter. Because someone has to hold these people accountable. And frankly, we're fresh out of jelly beans.